Okay, Alex, so heading into tribal council, did you know you were going home, or did you have some hope that somebody else, maybe like Carl, was going to be booted instead?
I had hope, but I knew I was going home, 100%. I knew, like, it was like right before tribal. I knew because my closest allies came to me and basically just gave me the eyes, gave me the nod, the head nod, like shook their head no, like not gonna happen, bro, not this time. We just couldn't get Christian and Gabby on board to swing the vote in favor of me, and yeah, so I got the boot, bro.
You did. What was interesting is it was a unanimous vote. Like they didn't worry that maybe you had a secret idol. They all just assumed you didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about that. The only thing is, I'm sure that went through their minds, but they probably had added up the idols in their head. They're probably, okay, Carl found one in exile. Dan found the 2 idols already. There was like the one at the T, like, so all the idols had been found. And then, Christian knew. He's like, I found one. He didn't tell anyone, but he knew, like, surely there's not any more idols out there. That would have been pretty epic, though, if I stood up and had an idol. Can you imagine? But no.
Yeah, because then it would have been what Carl went home. He's the only one with another vote because you voted for him.
Yeah, because he's the only one who had a. Yeah. I looked for an idol, but that hunting on that island is insane. It's like a massive island, and I just couldn't find one. So, but yeah, no one. I'm almost positive that people may have thought about it, but I'm sure they were just like, "There's no way he has an idol."
Does it make it easier to stomach your elimination knowing that they voted you out because you were such a physical threat?
Yeah, just everyone gets voted out for one reason or another. So whatever that reason is, just own it and don't regret anything. So yeah, I don't. Like, I got voted out because I got voted out, whether I was a threat socially, whether I was a threat physically. I guess I'm like flattered that they thought that, but I was just playing the game and I got voted out and I came up short. So, like, yeah, it's easy. I had no regrets. I went out smiling. So it's a game, right. And I was just stoked to be able to play, and make it that far.
Yeah. And after the merge, there was this, a possibility of an alliance with a few Davids and a few Goliaths. I think it was called the Strike Force Alliance. Do you think if that had worked, that you guys would have been the final 6?
Let's see. It's so hard because, you're like watching Survivor. The game is minute to minute. Things can change. People can. We've seen in the preview of the next episode, Gabby's turning on Christian. You see what I'm saying? So you can argue, like, yeah, we could have been the final 6. You can argue that things would have, like, never worked. Our strike force was never, I guess, deployed, if you will, which was a bummer. Like, it would have been cool to see what would have happened. But I don't know. You have, like, Nick has allies elsewhere. Like, he had Davey, and Davey had Carl, and they were left out of the strike force, and like Nick was aligned with them. So how would that have played out? There was also more Goliaths when we brought in Kara on the strike force. Like the Davids were out. So it's like, what? I don't know. Like what would have happened? Maybe we could have gone far. I really wish that I could have continued the game with Allison and Christian. But yeah, things happen, and Survivor's also a game. Like stars have to align. And you get booted, and you can always think about, oh, what if I did this? You can go over and over in your head and try to think of, like, what if I did this? Would this have happened? It's like, dude, you never know for sure. So I'm just happy with, like, how everything panned out. But, yeah, it's fun to think about, but you don't want to get too wrapped up into it.
Yeah, there is a lot of luck involved with Survivor. Like, finding advantages is there's a ton of luck in that. Like when Carl had to go to exile and he found that idol nullifier, that was just because he didn't, draw a certain buff out of a. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's so much luck. It's like if anyone else had pulled the buff and not played the nullifier right, or if it had been a Goliath who pulled the buff, and then we go to vote Christian and we say, what if there's Rhino played for Christian, and we nullify Christian and Christian's? I mean, so you to see what I'm saying? It's just like things are changing. So, I mean, it's just like the survivor path. Like your path is just like turns and curves and downs and up and left. It's crazy.
So let's talk about that immunity challenge. That was it went on for how many hours? Like 6 hours or something, where you're standing on that little perch.
Yeah, like nearly 6.
And so what happened when you stepped down? Did you kind of black out, or did you knowingly step down?
Okay, so it was just like the whole challenge was just exhausting. Mentally, physically, emotionally. You're on a tiny perch. Your heels, like you have like 2 inches where your heels are placed, and then your arms are pressed back, cocked back, right up by your ear, and it's just uncomfortable. Your butt's against this board, so your back's uncomfortable. And like I went into it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna be like mentally tough. I'm not gonna speak. I'm gonna zen out. And I tried that, and it was working, and I was good for like the first 4 hours, and then it was like I remember Jeff saying it was like 4.5 hours in. And that was when Christian had started telling stories, and Christian just beasted it. He was such a stud, and I'm serious, like, he can't, because he was really struggling, I think, like 3.5 hours in. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to step off. And I really, truly thought I was going to win. And then he started telling stories, and he really took his mind to, like, a different place and was able to completely take his mind off the pain and agony of the challenge. And so he just, like, he slayed me, dude. He killed me. So I was like, it was so many emotions. I'm like, oh my God, do I step off? Do I step off? And I was like mentally out of it, but ultimately it's Christian who got me to step off. He was just a beast, stud. So I was stoked for him though.
And what was your thought process when 3 people decided not to partake in the challenge? They went over and ate nachos. Did that kind of irritate you, or were you like, whatever they want to do is good for them?
Yeah. Oh man. Again, like everyone, you make decisions on Survivor and you stand behind them, and that's what they did. They made a decision and they argued it one way. Me as a competitive person, I'm like, dude, I'm a little frustrated. I'm like, you should compete. I mean, they said they didn't have rewards, but I was like, I mean, a lot of people haven't won rewards, and like they're like, it's easy for you to argue because you've been winning. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, everyone has a fair shake to win a reward or to win an immunity. Like it's anyone's game. So to see them sit out, I kind of tried to use that when we were scrambling. I'm like, look, Carl, Angelina, and Nick all sat out of immunity challenge. It shows how comfortable they think they are in the game. But yeah, I mean, they did them, and I support that. They made their choice, and I chose to compete. They chose to eat, and so, yeah.
So let's say you had won immunity. How do you think the votes would have fallen at Tribal Council? Do you think Carl would have gone home, or maybe Allison?
I think Carl would have gone home for sure, 100%. Because he was already in the talk, when I was going home. Because if I had won, it would have been, myself, Kara, Allison, Mike. We 100% would have been voting together. That's 4. And then Christian and Gabby would have been like, okay, I guess, we kind of would have had power within our little alliance in a way, I guess. And maybe they would have voted Carl. Maybe not. Maybe they would have convinced us to do someone else. But I just can't foresee them wanting to vote out anyone else aside from Carl. Maybe Angelina. But, I know they wouldn't have done Davey. They wouldn't have done Nick. They probably wouldn't have done Angelina. And then you have Christian and Gabby. So one would assume that it would have been Carl. Can I say that for sure? No, but that's what I think.
Well, tell us what it was like reading your letter from home. What does that do to your mindset out there to actually, hear from a loved one?
Oh my god. Dude, it was so epic. I think I remember that challenge. I was like, I'm almost positive this is a reward challenge where they would include our loved one letters. You watch Survivor enough to know like when certain rewards are. And yeah, I remember pulling those letters out of the basket and I immediately just like burst into tears because it's just weird, dude. You're out there for however many days with no contact from anyone. And like you learn that at least I learned in life, there's very few things you need. I was like, you need water, you need food, kind of, you could argue you need a place to sleep. But the one thing everyone craves out there the most is just like human relationships and people to like love and have good times with. And that's something you miss, dude. You miss like having a loved one to like call and be like, what up? I'm feeling down. So to see like my brother and my mom's and dad's and sister's handwriting and to know that they were like rooting for me and to know, I'm kind of getting emotional, and to know that like they'll be able to watch this on TV and I'm like doing this like for them, like we all watch the show together and now they get to see me and I'm out there for like representing my family, and then to know that it was so close to maybe loved ones and finally getting my mom out there and getting to hear Jeff be like, come on out, Julie, and have her, so it was like super emotional. It was just so rad though. It was like a nice little boost. It's part of the reason I lasted so long in that purge. I was thinking of my mom.
Well, final question here. I'm going to interview Carl in about 5 minutes. Give me a question from Alec that I could ask Carl. Something you want to know.
I want to know. Let's see. Let me think about this. Why? Ask him why. Be like, why did you think you were so confident?
Okay.
Because he gets booted right after me.
I will ask that. All right. Thanks a lot, Alec. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you.